Hey guys, what's up? Scottish Duck here once again. Right, now this was actually going to be a review of Icarus Uprising, because I just beat that last night. But I came across something rather interesting on my little browsing Wikipedia last night. Today, the 25th of March, is the 1 year anniversary of the release of the Nintendo 3DS in Europe, so I figured, heck, I'll do a wee video on that. So yeah. 1 year this motherfucker's been out. Now, I didn't get mine on launch. I got it really close to launch, granted, and at the time it was a pure impulse buy for me, you know. I knew there was absolutely nothing out for it. It would have been I would have totally regretted it later. And I did, but now that time's gone by, it has finally got its arse in gear and there are some decent games for it. So, yeah. Here are all my games, right here. I have 13 of them now. I still think after a year the 3DS has a relatively weak library. You know, it's not as good as it should be, I say. Now, granted, I know that's the case with a lot of games. You know, like the Wii had a piss poor first year, so did the PS3, and those consoles definitely got better over time. And I have every confidence the 3DS will as well. Right, one thing I wanted to talk about actually, just another little my thoughts on, is the inevitable redesign of the 3DS. You all know it's gonna happen, okay? It'd be stupid if it wouldn't. Now, so what could they change for this? Well, first of all, a second analog stick, you know? Because that really just goes to show how much Nintendo really rushed this thing out, you know? The fact that they added the Circle Pad Pro, well, they released it rather, and it looks ugly as shit. I don't have it yet. I've got Resident Evil Revelations there, and I played it just fine with the single analog stick. But yeah, the second one is gonna have, and the dog is barking. Hold on, bad dog. But yeah, it'd be really stupid if the second redesign of the 3DS didn't have the second analog stick, because yeah, it would just be. Oh, Nintendo. Oh, Nintendo. Right. What else? I guess in a way, right, this is I know, actually. This is something if anybody at Nintendo is listening to this, please do this, okay? In the second design for the 3DS, remove the region lock. That's a fucking given, okay? It's just so... I don't know what they were thinking that day at Nintendo. It's like, okay, we're going to make a new DS and it's going to be in 3D. Should we remove the region lock? Yes! Why? I just don't get it. So, if they remove that, that would be an instant day one buy for me. You know, I'd chuck this and just totally pick that up. So, yeah. Right. Future games that I want to pick up, you know. It's got a real bright future, you know. Nintendo's definitely putting a lot into it. There's a game by Monolith Soft coming out. Some other... I guess there will be a Smash Brothers at some point, as Iwata said so. Some games that I'm personally looking forward to is Rhythm Thief. That's coming out pretty soon, actually. I can't wait. Spiritual Camera, which is the Project Zero, you know, spiritual successor, no pun intended. What else? I know I'm missing out a lot, because there are a lot of games out there that I am gonna want to pick up. Hopefully, you know, Ace Attorney 5 will be on this, as well as Professor Layton versus Ace Attorney. That better fucking come out, and as well as the new Professor Layton game, which we'll probably get at the end of this year. Looking forward to all of those. Right. Now, I'm just gonna, if you've been watching my collection updates, obviously you'll know this, but I'm gonna give my, I'm gonna show you all the 3DS games I have right now, right? And at the end, I'm gonna give you my top 5. Now, let me rearrange these. I'm gonna go over all the games that I'm disappointed in first. Okay. There's only really 4 here. Okay. So these again, and you'll notice a lot of these were relatively close to launch, so yeah. And here are the 2 first games I picked up for the 3DS. Super Monkey Ball 3D and Rayman 3D. Now, Rayman's one of my all-time favourite games, but Ubisoft whores the absolute motherfucking shit out of this. we all know this, and granted it is one of the most well-aged games of all time, in my opinion, and deserves a re-release, but about a dozen times, really. At this point, I'm seriously just waiting for, like, for the HD remake of Rayman 2, you know. Why hasn't that happened yet? Rayman 3 is getting a fucking HD remake, and I don't like that game that much, so why not this one? And I know this is me bitching about not getting a HD port of Rayman 2 when there's a million other different ports, but anyway, this wasn't a very good port, in my opinion. You know, it slowed down a lot, the sound wasn't properly converted. It was pretty much an easy cash-in. And, Super Monkey Ball 3DS, I'm a big fan of Monkey Ball, and I will give Sega credit for this, right? This was one of the relatively few launch games, you know, non-Nintendo launch games for the 3DS that was original. You know, it wasn't a port of the first Monkey Ball or whatever, it was original. And, but yeah, it is really short, really easy. The fighting and the car racing is absolute pants. It was, again, just another rush job to get it out. So, yeah. Okay. And, here we have Dr. Lautrec. This is the last game I'm gonna... See, the thing is, I don't really want to talk about this game was bad, because I can't advance in it, guys. I was talking about this in my collection update. It's this sort of turn-based RPG, which is obviously made to look like Professor Layton, but I really want to like it, but I really can't. It's just so... I can't figure out how to grind. I can't remember if someone answered this question in my collection update, but if anybody knows how an effective way to grind in this game and get your treasure animatus, as it's called in this game, up to an effective level, please let me know, because I do want to try and beat this game, because I was enjoying it. So yeah, I really don't recommend this one though, yeah, seriously. Right, those are all the games that I consider bad. Well, I say bad, just, none of them is truly bad. None of them are truly bad, honestly. They're just, like, not that good, so yeah. Anyway, now on to some good games. This one's actually kind of debatable for me. 3DS version of Sonic Generations. Definitely disappointing when you compare it to the HD console version, but overall, it's a decent game. It really is, you know. It does have a lot of flaws, ain't gonna lie, and some of the level picks were stupid in my opinion. But overall, decent game, but I do hope they make Sonic's next 3DS game, because we know it's coming a lot better, so yeah. Right. Okay, now, by all means this should be in the top 5, but it's a port, so I feel bad putting it in, so yeah. Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time 3D. A very much well-deserved remake, I might add, and a very, very good one at that. The graphics were really awesome, the 3D was sweet. The game's aged wonderfully, it was just fantastic, it really was. But again, it's a port, so you can't exactly like, how should I put this, hold its own for the 3DS's library, I should say, maybe. But, yeah, in any case, I'm pretty sure a lot of people have picked this up, but I'm definitely looking forward to an original Zelda game for the 3DS, you know. Right. We have Resident Evil Revelations, you know. Not really one of my favourites, to be honest. Like, yeah, this is hard to describe, because this was a great game, it really was, and I was totally happy that Capcom went back to, you know, the sort of atmospheric, scare-heavy formula, rather than the Resident Evil 5 formula, you know, and I'm hoping Resident Evil 6 plays like this as well. But it was a classic example of a game I bought, I beat, then I just put it on the shelf and never touched it again. You know. So yeah, I'm not the right person to be commenting on it. Essentially, you know, I'm sure a lot of Resident Evil fans were very happy with it, and so was I. It just wasn't like, oh my god, that was so good, to the point where I would put it in my top 5, you know. But great game anyway, really good. I do recommend it. Okay, here's Crush 3D. Now, this just came out in America. We got it a little while ago. It's a remake of a PSP game. Really good puzzle game, you know. I haven't beaten it yet. I'm up to like the last couple of levels, and I'm not too fussed about beating it actually. But overall, a really good, you know, original puzzle game. Uses the 3D really well as well, actually. Not much more to say on that, but yeah. Crush 3D, awesome. Right, now, here we go. Now to get on to my top 5. Now I'll reiterate once more that this is my opinion, you know, and I know a lot of people are going to disagree, but heck, whatever. Here we go. The first one is Super Mario 3D Land. Little story time, guys, right? I remember when Super Mario Galaxy 2 came out, and I didn't praise the hell out of it in my videos, you know. I said that I was kind of a little bit underwhelmed by it because it was just the same as Mario Galaxy 1, which is a game I adore to death. Truthfully, I adore Mario Galaxy 1 to death. But everyone kind of took that and thought that I was hating on the game. I remember the bad comments. It was like, you suck, Scottish Duck and all that. And looking back, yeah, I didn't really state my opinion that well, because I do like Mario Galaxy 2 a lot, you know. It just didn't have that wow factor on me, that's all I'm saying. And the same can be said for this, actually. Some of the things they added, like the time limit, you know, I didn't dig that at all, really. But, yeah, it's kind of like Resident Evil Revelations, to the fact that I just beat it, and then put it down, didn't really touch it again. But, you know, I'm a big platformer fan, you guys all know this, and this was really good, you know. Not as good as the Mario Galaxy games, or Mario 64. Maybe I'm not a particularly big fan of Sunshine, even, but I think I would say that Sunshine was even better than this. Yeah. Again, not calling it bad. I'm not calling it bad. Don't let that happen again. So yeah, but that's my number 5 anyway. Right, and the fact that this game is just over Mario is probably going to piss off a lot of people. Shinobi for 3DS. Now, big Shinobi fan. I love the Mega Drive games. I love the game on the PS2, and I was excited to hear this coming out. I wasn't excited to hear that it wasn't being made by Sega. It was being made by a company that makes the DS versions of movie cash-in games, but they did a really good job. They actually did. They definitely captured the Shinobi feel of having to, you know, memorize enemy movements and almost having to cheat the game out in order to advance. And I really appreciated the unlimited lives mode, you know, and then there was another mode where you could have limited lives and limited continues. Granted, if you beat this game with limited continues on, you are a better man than I'll ever be. Seriously, it is hard as shit. And, you know, some other things, you know, little extras and that. I like the Street Pass stuff, which was really addicting, but really fucking difficult. Was just all around made a package that I could greatly enjoy, you know. I remember my original collection update, I was a bit critical over it, but as times went on, I've just really come to appreciate it. So yeah, Shinobi 3DS is definitely something I recommend to anyone, especially now because on its own it wasn't really justified full price, even though I bought it at full price. But you can get it mega cheap now, you know. I haven't seen it in a shop for more than like 15 quid, so no excuse, definitely no excuse to pick that one up. Right. For number 3, we have a game that nobody talks about anymore, but is actually fucking amazing. Dead or Alive Dimensions. Now, Dead or Alive is one of like the few fighting games that I'm really a fan of. I'm just not a fan of the genre in general, but I have a lot of attachment to the Dead or Alive games. Dead or Alive 2 was one of my favourites on the Dreamcast, and Dead or Alive 4 is probably my most played online game ever. I made a lot of friends on there and stuff, so I was really psyched to try this out, and I'm looking forward to Dead or Alive 5 as well, and the Virtua Fighter characters is really sweet as well. This is basically, it's the same as Dead or Alive 4, you know, in terms of controls, but it's got a bunch more stages, a couple more characters, and it's sort of a retelling of all 4 games into one, with redone cutscenes and all that, with really well done cutscenes with voice acting and everything. It was quite impressive actually. So, and the online mode, which is really good as well. Yeah, so if you're a Dead or Alive fan, this is pretty much essential. You know, it's actually sort of a compilation, if you will, of the past 4 Dead or Alive games, but remade in a sense. I'm not describing it too well, but I'm just saying it's not a port. Exactly. It's not a remake, exactly, but it's not entirely original either. So, but yeah, best fighting game on 3DS as far as I'm concerned, and I highly recommend it. Okay, number 2 we have Kid Icarus Uprising. Yes, this just came out, and guys, I honestly like it that much. Now, I'm going to do a review of this, maybe in the next couple of days or something, and I promise I will do it this time, you know. I kind of promised Yakuza Dead Souls, but I've kind of brushed that off now, but I will do this because I enjoyed the fuck out of this. If you're thinking about picking it up, I highly recommend it. The ground controls, you've probably been hearing this from some people, the ground controls aren't that good, but I don't care. The rest of the game makes up for it, as far as I'm concerned. But I'll go into more detail in my review, but for the time being, that is definitely my second favourite 3DS game now. And number one, a lot of you can probably guess right now, is Tales of the Abyss 3D. Now, some of you may be thinking, wait a minute, why didn't you put Ocarina of Time on there? You said you weren't going to count ports, Duck. Well, the PS2 version of this game never made it out in Europe, which I'm sure some of you know. So as far as I'm concerned...
Are you sitting on the edge of pointing the shower to the wall because it's dripping downstairs?
How rude. Anyway, as you can, as far as I'm concerned, this game is a 3DS exclusive. Now, granted, yeah, I know it isn't, and when you compare it to the PS2 version, it's actually a pretty lame port. The 3D is awful. They removed some of the voice clips to fit it on the actual cartridge, and the graphics are sort of dumbed down as well. But that didn't detract from the overall greatness that was this game. You know, I can only imagine how much I would have loved it if I had played it on the PS2, you know. Yeah, it was just one of the best RPGs I've ever played, and has since put me into this JRPG mood that I have yet to get out of. So, yeah, I could go on for... I did a review on this, but yeah, I could go on for ages about it. Seriously, adore this game so much, guys, and it has definitely made the 3DS, you know, a worthy purchase for me, just to play through that game. You know, again, I know it's on the PS2, but we never got it, so as far as I'm concerned, my opinion is justified in saying that that is the best 3DS game, so yeah, in my opinion. So yeah, that's pretty much it, guys. Happy birthday, 3DS, and hopefully you have another good year, so yeah. See you after, guys. Thank you for watching. Bye-bye.